Beta for my market replay software, Trading Cage, is now available. If you go to tradingcage.com and log in with your username and password, you will be able to try this out. If you don't have an account, just send me an email. I have my email address on the homepage, tradingcage.com. And I'll give anybody who emails me an account. I'm just keeping it private to make it a little bit easier for me to manage. I'm going to go ahead and log in here. Now, Trading Cage, in case you missed the last product demo, Trading Cage is a market replay simulator. So this is a tool for people who want to become consistently profitable traders and are willing to put in the hours to manually backtest and validate their strategies. So this is not a tool for quants, people who are using purely quantitative strategies, or at least not yet. I don't have that functionality available at the moment. But this is all purely manual backtesting. So let's say you took a course or you watched a YouTube video on support and resistance or some other discretionary trading strategy, and now you want to see if it works without risking real money. So you can test on these 3 index futures that are currently available. This is the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones. And I can add essentially any stock, future, option, or anything in here as long as I can get the data available for it, which I should be able to. And so right now I'm primarily focused on these 3 index futures, but I could add Forex or anything else. Just send me an email if there's something you'd like to test out here. And what this does is it allows you to drop back to a specific point in time, any point in time during the entire history of these contracts, and simulate orders, test out how your strategies would have worked, replay the market bar by bar, and really gain a sense for how these strategies play out in practice. I'm going to start with the time traveling chart here, and then I'll go to the simulator and show you how that works. But just to make the time traveling chart extra clear here, this is not the simulator, but this will show you any intraday chart that you might want to see. So for example, I can go back to 1997. This is, as far as I know, the only piece of software that lets you go back and see intraday charts. I can see the 1-minute chart back on the first day of the E-mini S&P 500 contract. This is not the first day. It's like September 10th or something like that. And here you see like all of the trades that occurred on the very first day of the E-mini S&P 500 contract. And I can even do extended hours here, although it doesn't look like there's anything available here. Oh, here we go. There's a couple of, it started at midnight on this day. So you can see there's a couple of trades going on here. Overall, sort of a downtrending day, which is kind of interesting. Now, this lets you choose also the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, which I won't click on quite yet. You can see, daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart. You can select between regular hours and extended hours. You can select a date. So one thing I want to show you really quick is the regular hours and versus extended hours even works, here we go, just took a second to load, on these higher time frames. So for example, I'll take October 10th, closed at 976 and 75 cents. If I change this to extended hours, you'll see that the chart changes and that the closing date is actually, maybe the closing date is the same on these days, but clearly the opening date was very different. So you can see, if your strategy depends on regular hours or extended hours, you can see the difference even at these higher time frames. Now I'm going to go back. Oh, and you can also add indicators here if you are a person who likes to use indicators. There's moving averages. There's a couple other things here. Bollinger Bands, MACD, whatever you like, we can add it. It's pretty easy to add indicators here. And of course, if you just like to draw things, then you can draw your trend lines. You can draw a couple other different types of things here. Arrows, labels, if you like to label your chart. Rectangles for, zones, different things you might want to do. All right. Now, when you, I start you out when you log in with an account called My First Account, and it starts arbitrarily on January 2nd, 2019. So if you wanted to take your strategy and test the last 4 years, well, nearly 5 years of data, I think that's a pretty interesting challenge to do. Now we're starting out at 0 P&L, and the account balances are actually unlimited. Right now, I only show the overall P&L, so you can trade as many contracts as you want and see how things go from there. I'll click on this in a second. If you want to create a new account that starts at a different date, you can do that. You can start way earlier, you can start later, and you can give it some, account name. And the reason you might want to do that is that these accounts only go forward, okay, to prevent basically cheating, for lack of a better word. There's no way, once you get in the simulator, once you create an account, there's no way to reverse time on the account. So time is monotonically increasing in the forward direction, and you'll see that when we get into the simulator. Okay, so here it is. This is the main feature of the app. You can see this is the replay simulator. We've got similar controls up here. We have, but what we have, a new thing we have is this order pane here and a trade history pane. So we haven't done any trades on this account yet. But you can see orders here. You can make market, limit, or stop orders. You can go long and short. You can set the price. You can set whatever quantity you want. And the active orders and positions will show up, as well as affecting your unrealized P&L as you start. So I'm going to go ahead and I've replayed this day a billion times, so I know exactly how it goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy at the market. In the real world, you don't necessarily know how things are going to play out, but I just have happened to play out January 2nd, 2019 a bunch of times, so I know that it goes up. But let's say I think this gap, right, from yesterday, December 31st, not technically yesterday, but, because January 1st is a holiday. But I think that the gap here is going to be closed. That's my guess. I guess we're going to get a trend from the open to close the gap. So I have a market order here, and I'm going to also set up, this is not formally an OCO order, because you have to actually manually cancel them. I'll be adding OCO orders in a future release. But let's say I think it's going to go all the way up to 2505, and I'm going to set up a stop loss at 2465, just below the low of the day. So I'm risking about 5 points here and stand to gain about 35 points. So 7-to-1, that's pretty enormous risk to reward ratio. We can adjust these orders as we go if we think that the probability of hitting the target is lower. So I'm going to go ahead and advance time manually. You can advance time in whatever increments you want. So for instance, I can go 1 minute here and really ponder every single 1 minute bar. It looks like my thesis is playing out reasonably well. Let's say, I want to just go to Walmart or take a walk or something and don't want to watch the chart after I've set up my initial bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and hit plus 30 minutes here. Looks like things are going my way pretty well. Now, let's say I want to move up my risk from 2465. In the future, I want to be able to drag and drop this, but for now, you just cancel that, and you could move it up to 2475, let's say. So I've moved up my stop loss here, and let's say I think this bar here is exhaustive, so I want to be taking profit pretty soon. Maybe I want to take profit at 2495 rather than 2505. So I'll move my take profit order up to 2495. And by the way, you can see your unrealized P&L in the lower left corner here. This thing has already moved more than 20 points in my direction, and the ES contract has a multiplier of $50 per point, so we get we've already gotten $1,000 here. But it hasn't been added to our realized P&L yet because we don't actually have any closed trades. So let's see what happens next. I'm going to just advance 5 minutes. Okay, we're sort of faltering near the target here. Let's keep going. Oh, we nearly made it. I think these came out of order. I'm going to refresh the page. Okay, well now maybe I think this was in fact exhaustive, so I just need to close all my positions. So I'm going to go ahead and market sell right here. Okay. So I've locked in a realized P&L of $587.58. I can see in my trade history that I bought at 2,470 and I sold at 2,482. So I got 12 points there. That's pretty respectable. And now, you know, I can continue to simulate this without any orders, or I can add some orders. Looks like it would have gone up to 2,495 and formed somewhat of a higher high double top here. But anyway, this is basically demonstrating how this tool might work. Let's look at a couple other functions. Let's say you look at 15-minute charts, for instance, and you like to see the, the 20 EMA. You can see that we're right around the 20 EMA point here, and we're beginning to turn down from it. So maybe you have some thesis around what price might be doing at that point. Or perhaps you use the extended hours, session for your strategies, and you can see that, in fact, during the overnight session, we formed a pretty compelling bottom and major trend reversal here. So perhaps we think that it's going to go all the way up and reverse this entire trend. And you can see exactly how that plays out if you just keep pressing the button. In a future release, I'm going to have a play button that actually streams these to you live, and that will be perhaps a more intuitive way to do this. But for now, you just have to click the button and make your predictions and watch price go up and down, see what happens. Looks like it just keeps going up and up, so this is a pretty interesting day to be testing here. But I am going to go ahead and call that good. Let me know if you have any issues at all with this. Again, the best way to contact me is mail@tradingcage.com. Or if you need an account, or if you'd like to add another ticker or something like that, I would be more than happy to accommodate. Just let me know. Have fun with it, and I look forward to seeing what strategies you come up with.